This is Local 3 News at 11.
Tonight on Local 3 News, wildfires are burning in Dade County, Georgia. The Emergency Management Agency says there is no threat to the public, though.
And we're in for another freezing night in the Tennessee Valley. David Karnes to tell us just how cold it's going to get. Plus, an 18-wheeler fire shut down a portion of I-24, and the fire spread into the grass. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Greg Glover.
And I'm Cindy Sexton. Wildfires are burning across Dade County.
Most recent fires on Lawson Mountain, where more than 400 acres so far burned. Local 3's Abigail Martin joins us live. Abigail.
This just in, due to local rangers fighting ongoing wildfires, they will not be issuing burn permits at this time in Dade County, Georgia. We are here on Lawson Mountain, where a spokesperson tells me that fire is still not contained.
The biggest thing now is to get that containment line around, get the fire under control where they back burn and get this stuff controlled, and trying to not burn as much property as they have to.
This is what Lawson Mountain looked like yesterday, but Dade County EMA Director Alex Case says they received a call at around 4 a.m., a resident saying they saw flames. Case says several plow units are on the scene and says vegetation still needs to burn. He says control lines have been created, making breaks in an effort to contain the fire. The Georgia Forestry Commission is monitoring the breaks to make sure the flames don't jump them. He says there are no threats of fire spreading to residential areas.
They fight fire with fire, so in certain areas that hasn't burned, they start smaller fires to burn away from the break they just put in to let that black get in there and cushion. That makes the break 2, 3, 4 times wider than it is.
Case tells residents to clear leaves and pine needles away from their homes. He is asking everyone to come together and lend a helping hand. No relief is in sight with the dry weather, and he urges the community not to burn. Case says conditions earlier in the evening were making it worse, but says the flames should slow down overnight.
It's a lot going on right now, and we hate it, but life happens. The good Lord lets things happen, and we have to accept them and move on.
Case says forest fires don't go out easily. He says they may burn for days and even up to weeks. Murphy Hollow Road remains closed as they continue to try and contain this fire, and we will continue to bring you the most up-to-date coverage. For now, reporting live in Dade County, I'm Abigail Martin, Local 3 News.
Thank you, Abigail. The Georgia Forestry Commission, an employee was rescued from the woods near the Murphy Hollow wildfire in Dade County, the one where Abigail was just reporting on. First responders say the employee may have a broken leg and was taken to the hospital.
Other problems out there. A portion of I-24 was shut down because an 18-wheeler caught on fire. It happened around 7:30 this evening. Near the Lookout Valley exit on the eastbound side, you see the tractor trailer was, the fire was in the front, the cab of the truck, and that spread into the grass on the side of the interstate. The good news, we're told no one was injured. Crews got that fire put out and the interstate reopened in under an hour. That's great news considering what we've seen around here lately.
Could have been much worse.
Yeah. Weather's not doing the fires any favor. We could use a dousing of rain, right?
Dousing would be so welcomed. And we've been saying that for weeks now. What about it, David?
We're not getting a dousing. No dousings.
No.
We are douse free. We are going to see maybe a couple of drops, maybe like next Thursday, but nothing until then. Drought conditions, brand new drought monitor update earlier today showing the extreme drought conditions expanding across more of the Tennessee Valley, and that is not even as high as it's going to go. We do have another category called exceptional drought conditions, and we may see that kicking in with our next update coming up next Thursday. Look at our percentage of normal rainfall for the past 30 days, 5 to 20%. That is it. This morning, cold, 27 degrees Chattanooga, 24 Cleveland, 25 Dalton, 21 in Altamont. Tonight, tomorrow morning, it will be warmer, but still freezing or below for most of the Tennessee Valley. Patchy areas of frost as well. Already down into the 30s, freezing in Athens, Murphy, 40 degrees Chattanooga, 34 Cleveland, 38 in Dalton. But we are warmer again, 4 or 5 degrees warmer than we were this time last night, and that will hold through tomorrow morning. Fortunately, the sustained winds, this is good news for the fire. This is good news for wind chill. the winds are fairly calm through the overnight, so that's not much of an issue. Got up to 59 today, 27 the low this morning. Skywatchers checking in 60 Soddy Daisy, McDonald 62, 57 Local 3, and 53 at Lookout Mountain. Uneka 60, 61 Delano, 58 in Riceville. Sunshine after the cold start tomorrow. A nice little warm up tomorrow afternoon. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just a moment.
David, thank you. The Humane Educational Society is asking people to be on the lookout for a dog that has been lost from their care. Take a look. This is Sprocket. She was last seen near the intersection of South Access Road and Randolph Circle, which is not far from HES. Sprocket will not walk up to strangers, so if you see her, don't go up to her, but call the number that we will show you. We'll put it on our website as well. There is a number to text or call the employees. There it is. Call 624-5302.
A Hamilton County grand jury indicted a woman on second-degree murder charges. The indictment reads, Christy Brandon distributed fentanyl that killed Charles Rutter. Brandon's bond was set at $100,000.
One of 5 former Memphis police officers facing federal charges in the killing of Tyree Nichols pleaded guilty in federal court today. Desmond Mills pleaded guilty to federal charges and is expected to plead guilty to state charges. Nichols died in the hospital several days after he was beaten by Memphis police officers during a traffic stop in January. The attack was captured on video.
The federal government will recommend a sentence of 15 years. The judge will make the final decision as to what the actual sentence will be. And we have agreed as part of that global settlement that we will also accept a plea guilty to comparable state charges from Mr. Mills, and that we will agree to make a similar recommendation for a 15-year sentence.
The 4 other officers will face federal trials scheduled for May 6th of next year.
The U.S. Senate confirmed 3 military post nominees. Admiral Lisa Franchetti was confirmed as Chief of Naval Operations. Her confirmation had been delayed by GOP Senator Tommy Tuberville of Alabama. He's been blocking military promotions en masse. Tuberville has held up those promotions for the past 9 months over the Pentagon's abortion policy, which reimburses with taxpayer dollars service members who travel to get the procedures. The Senate on Thursday also confirmed General David Alvin as Air Force Chief of Staff and Lieutenant General Christopher Mahoney as Assistant Commandant of the U.S. Marine Corps.
The House passed a bill tonight that would provide more than $14 billion in aid to Israel. Nearly all Republicans voted for it. 2, Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia and Thomas Massey of Kentucky, voted against it. The bill likely won't pass the Senate. President Joe Biden has said he would veto it.
Still ahead on Local 3 News at 11, gas prices have been on a downward trend. We'll show you the cheapest gas in the Chattanooga area.
A historic day for the United Auto Workers Union after the first local voted in favor of the labor deal that ended the union strike at Ford last week. 82% of the UAW members in a Michigan assembly plant voted in favor of the deal. Members returned to work after a 41-day strike at Ford, and the deal would pay workers a 25% raise between now and 2028.
Let's talk gasoline. The prices have continued to ease at a slow, steady rate. Flat demand and lower costs of oil have said to help bring that average price for a gallon of $3.44, 9 cents less than last week, 37 cents lower than last month. Of course, gas prices vary across the region and across the country.
Tennessee and Georgia's averages are much lower than the national. Tennessee's is $3.06, Georgia's $2.93. Now, gas stations with the lowest prices are there on your screen. Costco in Ringgold has gas for $2.59, as well as Sam's Club on Lee Highway, and the BP on Cummings Highway has gas for $2.62 a gallon. You can find the cheapest gas near you by using the Fuel Finder tab on our website.
Coming up on Local 3 News at 11, find out how a new, slightly unusual technology is helping track drug use through the toilet. Wastewater may help health officials understand the growing opioid problem.
You may remember hearing about BioBot. It was used during the pandemic to track COVID-19 through fecal matter. Now that same technology can track illegal substances. Local 3's Jeremiah Beatty has the story.
When you flush your toilet, you could be saving lives. The accuracy of this testing, experts tell me, is pretty impressive. These wastewater samples can determine intervention methods or spot trends. BioBot epidemiologist Alex Bubin says this type of study is on the forefront of our understanding of drug use. And if you're wondering whether the experts have gone crazy,
it is unconventional, but very much needed.
Bubin says it provides health officials with data on the types and amounts of substances people are using in addition to other drugs. They can track everything from fentanyl, methamphetamines, cocaine, nicotine, and very soon xylazine. The DEA lists xylazine as one of the deadliest drugs in addition to fentanyl.
It is simply just a matter of being able to give a 10,000-foot overview of a community to say whether use is increasing, decreasing, staying the same.
BioBot is the first company to cut a path to public health surveillance. It was founded in 2017 to help epidemiologists track surging COVID-19 numbers in wastewater. Bubin says the concept is similar, but instead will be used to find opioids. At first, some may think it's an invasion of privacy. Bubin says BioBot doesn't publish sample information, only public health agencies use it. This means health experts won't have to wait for things to escalate.
Essentially, what is happening is that we are waiting for people to overdose or potentially die before we are getting a picture of what is actually happening to cause those overdose deaths.
The evidence lies in fecal matter, and it all starts with the flush.
So we know that when someone consumes a particular substance in their urine, if they use a toilet that is connected to that wastewater treatment system, they excrete what we call metabolites. That basically just says that this substance was consumed by the human body and excreted, and we then collect that at the wastewater treatment plant.
Public health officials can use collected samples to identify communities with high levels of opioids and intervene. Some wastewater treatment plants serve thousands and others millions of people. So tracing back to the initial flush is hard to do.
That's really the beauty of wastewater epidemiology is it's not tracked back to specific people or specific homes or anything. It's just what's overall in the wastewater.
Michael Harris with the Newcastle Sanitation Facility in Delaware was the first wastewater treatment plant to partner with BioBot during the pandemic. He says the initiative works. In places like Cary, North Carolina, opioid overdose deaths decreased by 40%.
We hope it saves lives. I mean, that's the whole goal of this whole program. We're excited for the potential wastewater epidemiology to be used for other things to help human lives and well-being.
And this program is gaining traction.
We work really closely with a lot of our partner communities to make sure that data are being distributed in ways that, again, don't identify individuals, don't result especially in punitive actions, which is a big one for us that we have a very hard line on that we will not do.
Bubin says because BioBot is able to work with anonymity, it can even help experts understand the stigmas associated with opioids.
Because we've really seen it demonstrated that it's not just isolated to the areas where people think it happens. It really is a widespread issue that has the potential to spin even more out of control if we don't recognize this as a sort of widespread public health issue.
A ray of hope against a deadly drug that has taken countless lives. Reporting for Local 3 News, I'm Jeremiah Beatty.
Now time to talk weather again.
All right, David Karnes, you just don't bring us much hope, but at least we have some nice weather, right?
Spring is on the way, and with spring, I'm sure we'll get spring rain. But until then, well, not until then, but at least for the short-term foreseeable future, we are dry. Fortunately, the winds have lightened up. Those winds were really creating the enhanced wildfire danger. And even though we do have some wildfires, talking about the ones in Dade County, we do have the winds much lighter, even calm right now. 3-degree guarantee 2 days in, we're at $20. That's a good sign. That's a good start, right? $60 or 60 degrees rather, the forecast, and made it up to 59. You can register to win at local3news.com/3-degree. We do the drawing at the end of every month and accumulate usually anywhere from $250 to $300. So could be a nice little Christmas thing for you. 65 degrees will be the forecast high tomorrow. It's going to be really nice tomorrow afternoon. Wrapping up October, the high was 2.2 degrees above normal. The low is about a half degree above normal, and rain way below normal. We're short 3.3 inches, which is pretty much our entire rainfall amount for the month. Freezing on Friday morning, but again, we're going to see a great afternoon in the mid-60s, warming even into the 70s over the weekend, but that extreme drought continues. little to no relief in sight. 40 degrees right now, dew point of 24, winds 0. Very calm outside. 40 in Chattanooga, but look, all the way down to freezing already in Cleveland, 32, 35 Dalton, and 28 in Murphy. And bundle up those kiddos once again tomorrow, 32 when you are dropping them off, and when you're picking them up in the car rider line, sunshine, and they should have a few layers less on. 64 degrees. We'll have a high of 65. Radar and satellite, just perfectly clear skies. We're going to see that continuing right into your big Friday. Should be great weather for the football games, whatever you have on Friday afternoon. And then the weekend, stellar. We're going to have that high pressure continuing Saturday and Sunday. Mostly sunny skies both days. We'll be in the low 70s both days, and then get even warmer than that next week. So tonight, not as cold, still freezing, 32 Chattanooga. That's the warm spot. It'll be in the mid to upper 20s in most areas around the Tennessee Valley tomorrow morning. And then sunny blue skies, beautiful afternoon, 65 for your high tomorrow afternoon, 65 in Cleveland, 66 in Dalton. We'll make it all the way up to 67 in Scottsboro. South winds about 5 to 10 miles per hour. So we're warming up, low 70s. Boy, will you be surprised at how early it gets dark on Sunday. We're setting the clock back, losing an hour on Sunday of daylight, and then, when you get home every day next week, it's going to be dark. Mid to upper 70s. Look at that, even possibly getting up to 80 by Wednesday, staying dry throughout. Only hope for rain toward the end of next week with another front. Keep us at 73 on Thursday, and maybe a sprinkle or two.